calms everything down. The supporters trust him. If he employs a 31-year-old coach because he thinks that's a good idea to do, everybody believes in it. Everybody supports it.
Things looking good in the Cup, and as for the league campaign, our old friend the Champions League seemed to be getting in the way of our performances just a little bit, as our winning streak seemed a distant memory. Speaking of the Champions League, it was a tricky looking last 16 tie against Atletico Madrid, managed by Arne Slot. In the first leg we went down to a tight 2-0 defeat. We did more than enough in that one to at least get a goal. In the second leg, Atletico went classic Simone on us and we just could not break them down. A ball draw and we leave the Champions League at the knockout stage. Number one goalkeeper Rizzo against Fiorentina got another one of those innocuous injuries, which led to backup Raul Martin jumping in against Atalanta in a game he'll probably want to forget. So in a bit of a sticky patch with suspensions and injuries, I had a little tweak of our favourite tactic. Instead of Sulaj bombing on like he wants to, I asked him to sit and be a deep line playmaker, just pinging it about and letting the front four do the work. This has given us an initial boost and it resulted in our best attacking performance this season away at Lazio. We were really good here and could have scored loads more. And really annoyingly, Lazio somehow got a draw out of it. But Sulaj playing as a playmaker for the last 5 or 6 games looks good, average ratings up in the 7s, helped us dismantle Monza, and then it was time for our big semi-final first leg, away at Napoli, still managed by Sean Dyche. So up and down at the minute, I can't help but feel the Champions League got in the way this season, and it looks like sitting in 8th position that we're not going to hit the Champions League this season, which might be a blessing in disguise in a funny way. Might be a blessing in disguise. Team-wise, I have made the move and I've gone for it. Thinking about next season of changing Esposito to a complete forward. I think it's the right move at this stage because he's dying to play there. That is his position, and I've just stuck him as a complete forward for the last 5 or 6 matches. And as you can see down there, he's started to score. Looks good in it, and he was on a bit of a lean spell as a deep line forward as well. I'm interested to see this move with the Sulaj if it's going to work, and I'm also thinking that if we get to a stage where the league's a dead rubber, we might experiment with something new for our next season. Now back to Napoli. Now believe it or not, Sean Dyche actually won the league last season with Napoli. So we've got a big game coming up against him now, and this is what I like to do down here. It shows you what the opposition manager likes to play, so you can kind of have a little scout of his team without scouting. So if I said Sean Dyche to you, you could probably guess how his team's going to play, but this goes for most managers you're going to come up against. So as you can see, it gives his preferred formation, so you have a good idea of that, but you can research that just by clicking on the team. But this, however, is the key thing. He's going to look to use counter-attacks, player marking, down the flanks, so he's going to play wide and he's going to press us like crazy. He doesn't want his players, which probably is no shock to Sean Dyche people, allowing creative freedom, and he doesn't want to force the player inside. So knowing that, for this game against Napoli, knowing he uses player marking, I'm going to ask some key players to roam from position. That way, if they're going to tight mark them, they're going to get dragged out of their position. It's Napoli's home game and they're going to focus play down the flanks. So for this game only, I'm going to ask both my fullbacks to push forward less. So let's have them just on support, even though that's one of our key attacking philosophies. But just for this match, we're going to be a bit more sensible. It also looks like he uses counter-attacks. So for this one match, I'm going to take counter-press off, because when we lose the ball with counter-press, we all look to get the ball back, but they might bypass that with a longer ball. So I'm just going to leave that off for this next match. So in true Sean Dyche style, they score an equaliser from the corner, but if you'd offered me that result at the start, I would have took it for sure. This has been a season all about the Champions League and what it's done to our league campaign really, because as soon as the Champions League finished up here, you can see we went on that great run. When it came back, things got a little bit messy. As far as the Coppa Italia, first leg, 17th of March, we have to wait another month until the back end of April to see if we can make the final. But This episode's all about this. It's the youth intake time, and it's time to check it out because this could be the one that sets us up for the next few seasons. And it's on this very next tab. Are you ready? As you can see, folks, we have got an excellent intake, and it's got that glorious paragraph across the top. This is a wonderfully talented group of players led by Luca Rossetti, who we'll check out very shortly. We could have the makings of a potential golden generation. So without further ado, let's check out Luca Rossetti. So, positives, 15, and I can see plenty of double figure attributes already for a centre-back. Heading's good, marking will get way better, but more importantly, let's have a look at his mentals, and his position is really good, as are his decisions and bravery. He's got all the makings of a really good player. He's only 5'10", so potentially, if his technicals are good enough, he could move into that defensive midfield slot. I'm looking at him with technique of 11, passing 10. That could be his future. On the same level as him is Daniel Volpe. You can see current ability and potential the same as Luca Rossetti, so let's check him out. And a more attacking player, and instantly I can see more double figure attributes lying around. He can play a few positions, it looks like, a number 10 out wide, even central midfield. But he's already got flair, teamwork, technique. He is arguably a better prospect. Into the top talent section, so this is one step down. We've got 5 or 6 or even 7 players lined up here. The goalkeeper in Andrea Bernardo. I always think goalkeepers are harder to judge, so we'll see what he turns up into. He's only 15 though, so you've got to think. Lots of room for growth. This is an interesting one. Leonardo Paparelli, fullback, already with 16 crossing, which is gold dust in FM for new gens, and at 15 as well. Yeah, excited about him as well. Really good. Balducci, central midfielder. Bit of work to do on him, but you can see there's definitely some growth there. Potential already. Another centre-back here in Sergio Fagetti. Our Albanian link with Sulaj continues with Faton Agoli. I was hoping for a striker, and we've got one in Nicola Carananti, and he's already got good finishing. Composure needs a ton of work, but there's still some key attributes that look good. And finally, another fullback is a left-hand side fullback, and he also has good crossing ability and work rate as well. Overall, I think that's a pretty good intake. I would say those elite talents, those top 2, and at least 6 of those top talents there will make it into our squad with a bit of work. What I'll do at the end of the video is I'll put their profiles back on, and you can let me know which ones you definitely keep and which ones you potentially retrain, because they're going to be huge, but they are only 15, so we're going to have to wait maybe 2-3 seasons. But the style of this save, I would love to get one of them into the team, whether they be 16, 17, if they're good enough, getting them in and around that squad. By the way, I should probably look a bit deeper as well, because these guys are the ones only ranked good talents. This is Gianni Mombrini, and he's pretty good as well. Same story for Emmanuel Roda. I see potential there to retrain as a wing-back. Di Lorenzo, yeah, this is our best intake we've had in so long. Even the boys classed as decent talents are not bad at all. Sandro Montesanto, a few years ago, he would have got in my team. All that talk of the youngsters, our boy Di Marino signed a new contract for 2 more years. That'll take him up to his 35th birthday, and by then, maybe one of these boys can jump into his position. The next gen list is out. We don't have anybody in the top 50, but that's not going to stop me from scouting. Speaking of scouting, do you remember my Ukraine search? Led by Christian Basagog, who has knowledge of there thanks to his time playing there. Check out this player he's found, Eduard Milanov. He is wanted by some Premier League teams. Bang! Oh my days. If we could get him, he is outrageous. I experimented again against Bologna, which led to almost dominating away performance I think we've ever had. And the ironic thing is, I brought Esposito on against his own club, and he scored the winner. So not long left in the season, we've got that massive semi-final second leg. That win over Bologna shoves us up to 7th, just on the cusp of Europe. Star man in that match was sub right back Diego Spencer. And to be fair, he's fighting for his career now, because I've just tied up a signing for next season. What do you make of this right back? Andre Zedjanek joining us next season for 6.5 million.